So I'm feeling like a brand new person lately. I've been building a lot of confidence, and it's just kind of crazy just in my daily interactions with people. Um, like I said, I have some confidence built, and I just feel like I'm a lot more authentic with people. Less trying to be liked. Um, you know, just a silly example, like thinking that I have to smile at people um, when they're talking. Like I used to feel like I would just have to kind of like force a smile, and therefore they would like me. In reality, that's just kind of confusing me at the end of the day. So now I just have my resting face, like this is it. Like the thing is, I was told by people that I look grumpy, so like I went away from just having my like normal face and would like try to like look not grumpy, even though that was just a few people's opinion. And I'm just learning so much about myself, really, honestly, just from like having kids and like trying to raise them right in a way is kind of like re-raising myself. Yeah, I have some goldfish on my shirt. You know, I'm just real, man. I'm real now. I'm a real person. Um, I was a real person before, but I wasn't a really real person. It's just a lot of fakeness, which is just no one wants to really be a true friends with someone who's fake, because that means you're not friends with like a real person. So it's just kind of cool to like be real. Um, it's just kind of unbelievable. I didn't know that you could feel like this. I didn't know that you could feel like it's not like I don't have anxiety, but the anxiety that I was feeling throughout the day was just like constant. It's just like I felt like I was just always on edge, hyper vigilant. Now, like, of course, I have anxiety, but it's more like normalized and less like constant. And it's just so nice and free feeling and like liberating. I'm super just like happy, satisfied with like where my life has gone really over the past little over a year and a half. I think I said in one of my videos that I started going to therapy in January of 22, and that really was like the start of the change in my life because I had someone to um, really be an independent party. Like my wife, yeah, like I love her, she loves me, and she has my back. But it's really so important to have outside people. Like I actually think from all the learning that I've been doing that my wife and I were enmeshed, and I think that happened because of my upbringing, because I was not like physically forced to like please my mom, but like I felt like I could never make her happy. I felt like I always had to be like happy. I could never like show frustration or anger because then she would take that personally, and in reality I was just trying to express my feelings. So like in turn, my adult relationship, my marriage, like with my wife, I would internalize her feelings, her thoughts, everything. It's just, and I still like, I do that still, but I'm able to catch myself and stop myself, my thoughts, and you know, like realized, like, wow, like, I was really, like, kind of like gaslighting myself. Like, I've learned that that's something that you do if you had kind of a not ideal upbringing. Just kind of gaslight yourself and trick yourself because you were gaslit growing up and that's all you really knew. Another thing I've realized is that, like, yeah, like, I'm not, like, gonna be mean to my wife, but I'm also, like, if I truly believe something, I'm gonna speak up, and that's something I'm learning too, and that's why I'm so quiet normally, is I would just, like, yeah, cool, like, say it was something with work, I'd be like, yeah, cool, sounds good, but I would actually be thinking something else, and I feel like that was also causing some anxiety that I didn't realize that it was causing my anxiety at the time, because I just felt like I couldn't say something, and if I said something, then the person wasn't going to like me, and they weren't going to come back to me. But over time, I've learned the more I speak my mind, the more people respect me, even if they have a different opinion. They're like, wow, Dan, like, thank you for speaking up. Like, there's been so many times at work where people just kind of like sit there in meetings and it's just like, yo, like, speak up, you know? And obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but that's something that's always been difficult for me, is speaking up because of my upbringing. So, man, I feel like a new person. I've grown so much. And, I'm 32, so I got a long ways to go, and I'm reparenting myself. And I recently read this book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, by Ronald Glover, I believe is his name. I know the last name's Glover. I confuse him with Donald Glover, who is Childish Gambino, Yo-Yo. So, like I said, the title's a little misleading, but it also isn't, because us, honestly, whether you're a woman or a man, like, you're taught that you can't speak up, you can't speak your mind. You're taught to please your parents, when your parents are the ones who just sometimes decided to had you or had you, and that's just backwards, man. Like, I got 2 young kids. I can't imagine, like, trying to get them to please me. Yeah, of course, does it make me feel warm and fuzzy when they are freaking hilarious and happy? Of course. But to, like, make them feel like crap when they're expressing their quote unquote negative emotions, like, of course it's frustrating at times, but you just gotta take a deep breath and put yourself in their shoes. First of all, couldn't fit in their shoes. They're tiny. That's not meant to be a joke. I know, like, it's funny to picture, but, like, my oldest son is 2. His emotions are massive. He does not know how to control them. Literally, his brain, the part of his brain that is supposed to, like, control emotions, it can't yet. That part of his brain has not grown. And that's why kids have parents to help them express and feel their emotions. It's okay for kids to feel their emotions. And in learning that, I've learned it's okay for adults to express their emotions. Yes, we have to control them, but it's important to notice them, identify them. For example, I could be angry with someone at work. I'm not gonna freaking yell at them. I'm gonna notice the anger and be like, you know what, this sucks. This person's like really pissing me off right now. But what the hell is yelling gonna do? It's just gonna make matters worse. Yelling, like, that's just a power trip, man. If you're yelling at someone, like, unless they really, really deserve it, if they're being a flat out prick, and there's no other way to get through to them. Maybe they do need to be yelled at, honestly. Not a kid, though. Not a kid. In my opinion, you should never really yell at a kid unless they're just like ballistic and just like for some reason being a bad kid. But a kid isn't a bad kid unless you teach them bad behavior, honestly. It's just like life is crazy, and I feel like maybe some people realize all this stuff like earlier in life. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But I am getting better at not comparing myself to others. I used to do that all the time. Like, and that was just for my low self-esteem. I was decent at sports growing up. I loved playing sports. And this one baseball team that I was on, there were these couple of kids that would like pick on me and stuff, and I would just kind of like just kind of let them, which I honestly don't know if that's the right way to do it, but the way that I felt was like, wow, these kids are dicks. Fuck these kids. That's what I thought to myself. In retrospect, I feel like I should have said that to them. Would they have been mad? Would they have retaliated? Maybe, but at least I would have expressed self-respect. And that's something that I did not learn growing up, how to respect myself, because I was taught to respect others no matter how the hell they treat you. Be nice to Joe Schmo, even if he's a fucking dick. And I'm not going to be like a dick to someone just to be a dick, but like, show yourself some respect. Don't let people walk all over you. Again, be respectful to them. I know that's literally kind of like the opposite of what I just said. Like, but you should stand up for yourself if deep down you really feel like, you know, something's wrong. You can feel it, trust me. I didn't think I could. I didn't think that I could like feel or like know and meet my authentic self. But from setting boundaries and learning about all this stuff that I didn't think was okay to incorporate into my life, it's just like my life has changed tremendously for the better, and learning, man. I feel like life is just we're learning like about ourselves, and you just continue to mature. And as I alluded to earlier, sometimes people mature earlier than others. A lot of it, I think, is because of your upbringing. How did your parents treat you? Do they treat you with respect? Even though you're just a quote-unquote kid, were they respectful to you? Did they treat you as a human or as a kid doll? Like, were they living vicariously through you? Or were they trying to raise you into a responsible, independent adult? One of the things that my therapist said to me that really, 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 really resonated with me is that he said, with his child, his goal is to raise an independent adult. A strong, confident, independent adult. His goal isn't to raise a best friend. He's already comfortable with himself. Yeah, does he have bad times, go through bad times? Everyone does. It's fucking... We're human. But to want to raise someone for yourself and not for them is like... You need to, like, check yourself. Anyways, I'm just so happy that I've learned so much about life, about myself, because that's making my relationships better. It's making my relationship with my wife better. It's making me a better parent. It's making me a better professional. It's making me just like better all around person. And you know what's funny? I always thought I was a good person. I always thought I was such a good person, a nice person. I remember in college, one of my roommates that I wasn't that close with, but one time we were walking back from one of the campuses. He was like, you know, Dan, you get along with everyone. And that really, really stuck with me because it's like, is that a good thing? Now I've learned that it's not necessarily a good thing. If you're being authentic and you get along with everyone, that is awesome. If you're getting along with everyone and you're being inauthentic, you're hurting yourself in the long run and you're hurting others. Be yourself. Don't try to please other people. Easier said than done. You can't just flip a switch and not be a people pleaser. It takes time, takes practice. Step one, do things for yourself. I journal every day. Some days I miss, but that's okay. But every day I try to do something for myself. I got 2 young kids. I have a job where I work a lot. Responsibilities at home. I still find time for myself. I used to not set time aside for myself. If I did, I wasn't actually like present. I was always thinking about other things. So if I was like just chilling on the couch, I'd be thinking about, oh, what do I gotta do? What do I gotta do? Well, I'd be thinking about the past, oh, about the future. Not just enjoying the moment. So what do I do now? After I'm with my son, you know, in the wee hours in the morning, sometimes I go back up to bed. Sometimes I stay awake. Look at my fantasy baseball team. Prepare for my fantasy football drafts. Because I fucking love that stuff. I love that stuff. And you know what? Here I thought that my wife was preventing me from doing those things. What? Was she saying, Dan, you can't do fantasy sports? Does she like when I'm scrolling around on my phone on Sundays during football season? I do it a lot less now with kids and all that. But I like it. And it's important for me to emphasize that. My wife wants me to be happy. I thought that I couldn't because of my upbringing. Because I was forced to please my mom, but I couldn't please her. No matter what I did, I had to be happy, I had to be funny in order to please my mom. I couldn't be anything but that. Otherwise, what are you doing to me, Daniel? What are you doing to me? Oh, everyone's so against me. That's what killed my self-esteem. My cat's looking at me right now. She's like, who the hell are you talking to, Dan? Wanna see? This cat, She's helped me through a lot. Here she is. Can you see her butt? Well, now I'm just comfortable with myself. I love having my cat. Just do things for yourself. If you're struggling in life, with relationships, do something for yourself. What do you like to do? Do you feel lost? My dad used to be an avid cyclist. He used to bike with people who qualified for the Tour de France. He was a legit cyclist, my dad. He used to bike all day up in Canada, going up hills. He used to tell me stories about, like, he would literally bring him. I don't think this is what you're supposed to do nowadays. They probably don't even let the professional cyclists do this. You should just bring sugar with them, keep them going. Obviously, to me, that doesn't sound healthy. When do you think the last time you biked was? I couldn't even tell you. You know what he has? He has his bike. Same bike that he used to ride all the time when he lived in Canada. I think I've seen him ride it like twice. I remember thinking to myself, wow, Dad, like this is years ago, by the way, that my dad would like take his bike out. And this is when I was probably like 12, maybe. And then he just like stopped. He had some health issues, but I don't think the physical health issues were the real reason why he stopped. I think something happened mentally. I don't know. I'm just totally guessing here. Long story short, my dad stopped doing his favorite thing. One of the things that he would still do for himself is sit on the deck, drink a coffee, drink a beer. My dad has not really any friends. So he has colleagues that, he's amicable with. His family's all up in Canada. His family he grew up with, was, born. I don't want that for myself, and that's what I'm trying to prevent. I'm doing things that I like to do. It's all about balance, though. When you have a family, you gotta take care of your family, but you also gotta take care of yourself. This is a long video, and I can go on and on. And I never thought that I could just talk and talk, because I was so quiet. I was always second-guessing everything that I would say. Say what's on your mind. I remember my wife saying that to me. She said she doesn't have much of a filter. And I used to think, you know what? You should have a filter. You should still have a filter. But it shouldn't be fucking 10 filters. Picture like a coffee maker, right? Coffee machine. How many filters do you put in it? You put like a thick filter in it. I don't know if that's the best analogy, but buy a crappy filter. Get a filter from Walmart. Don't get the organic, like, fucking thick filter thing. Because if your filter is that strong, you're making yourself weak. Okay? Say what's on your mind within reason. If you really believe something and you don't speak up and say it, you're literally hurting yourself. You can probably feel it in your body if you're self-aware enough. Like, Oh my god, I really, really want to say this, but I shouldn't. You're gonna say to yourself, I shouldn't say this. You know why? Because most likely your upbringing, you weren't supposed to do or say certain things, even if you wanted to, because it would have hurt your parents, it would have whatever. But, man, anyways, I'm done skis for the night, man. Be real, man. That's my new motto, if you will. Be authentic, be yourself, don't overthink things. Reduce the strength and size of your filter, and yeah, just be you. Authenticity is amazing. Don't care about what people think of you. At the same time, don't be an arrogant prick. But the most important thing that you can do in life is to be yourself. Otherwise, everyone's the same. And